Hey everyone, and welcome back to another Tuesday tip, where in this video I'm going to be teaching you how to do a trick that I like to call the Zamboni. So normally with these videos I cover some pretty basic stuff like how to bunny hop or the basics of grinding or how to jump a spine. But with this one, I wanted to cover something a little bit more advanced that I like to do and that I've really only ever seen one person do, but I know a ton of people literally all over the world who have the ability to do this trick that I want to see it. And with that being said, I'm going to show everyone how to do what I like to call the Zamboni. So before we get too far into it, let's talk about what the Zamboni actually is. It's kind of a combination of a few different tricks, but when you boil it down, I like to think of it as a downside lawnmower ice pick stall, which you could also call an ice mower, which you could also call a Zamboni. So with that being said, let's talk about some things that you probably want to know before you try the Zamboni. The first one I would say is how to do a lawnmower and an opposite tire tap. Instead of your tire being on the coping like a normal lawnmower, it's actually on the deck like a tire tap, but you're also in the opposite tire tap position coming in, which is why I recommend learning how to do opposite tire taps before trying this trick. Another thing to note is that this trick really only makes sense if your pegs are on the left side, you spin to the right, and you have your brake lever on the right, or if you have your pegs on the right and you spin to the left, if your brake lever is on the left side. Any other combination of these things means that you're either going to have to be spinning opposite or something like that, or you're going to have to take off the opposite hand that the brake lever's on, which means that you won't have the brakes to rely on in doing this. And while I don't think it's completely impossible, I think it makes it so much harder that it's just not worth trying without everything making sense on your bike. Another motion you'll probably want to learn before trying this trick is some sort of 5-tap or 270 tap variation motion, just because it's almost the exact same spin to get into this trick. So let's break this trick down into steps. Step 1 is to approach the quarter with the same speed you would to do a 5-tap or a tire tap or any sort of lip trick. It's a moderate speed. Speed is key here. If you go too fast, you're going to put your peg down on the deck of the ramp, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, and you can make something work from it, but it's just not this trick, so we're not going to talk about that. If you go too slow, your peg won't make it to the coping and you'll just fall back into the ramp. So speed is key here. Luckily, if you try it on a 4-foot quarter, such as the one behind me here, you can get out of anything too fast, too slow, relatively easily and safely. Step 2 is to spin exactly the same way you would to get into a 5-tap or a 270 tap variation. Step 3 is to put your foot in the tire and start leaning the bike just like you would in a lawnmower. Step 4 is to start spotting where you want your peg to go, because once you get your foot in the tire, it's pretty much a blink of an eye before your peg hits the coping and you're popping to go back in. This is the part where you're going to want to practice this motion. It's just like a 5-tap lawnmower up until this point, except for the fact that you're leaning it over so much that your peg hits the coping. Step 5 would be, once you get into the stall, you can usually hold it for a split second, not very long. If you hold it too long, it's probably going to overpower you and pull you back into the coping. So once you get to the point where your peg hits the coping, you're going to want to start leaning back and pulling on your handlebar that you have your hand still on. And it's pretty much like a lawnmower at this point, because you're using your foot and your leverage and your body weight to lean backwards and bring the bike back up to you. And at the same time, step 6 is going to be spotting your grip that you need to grab, because it's at this point that you're going to be grabbing the grip. And this is when you're in your opposite tire tap motion, just with your foot on the tire like a lawnmower. And step 7 would be to go in from this opposite tire tap motion, just like you would a lawnmower or anything else, except it's a tire tap this time. So you're hopping back in. You can also just fall back into the quarter, which sometimes will happen and it will feel scary, but it works out as long as you have the Lawnmower prerequisites and you don't freak out. Honestly, when I first learned this trick, I would fall into the ramp and catch it that way almost every single time. It's only once I got more comfortable and started going at it with just a touch more speed, enough to get back on top of the bike and hop in, that I started hopping in from it. And when you fall into it, because you're already halfway off the bike coming back to it, you can usually get away from it pretty easily just by letting it go to the side that it's on, depending upon which way that you're trying it. And at this point, you're rolling away from the trick, and that wraps it up. I know that it seems extremely complex, but if you have the prerequisites of the 5-tap motion, the opposite tire tap, and the Lawnmower, you should be able to do this trick no problem. So let's wrap up this video. I hope that it helps you learn this trick. I really want to see some more people out there doing it. If it does help you out and you do learn it, take a video, send it to me on Instagram, tag me, whatever. I just want to see it. I know that this feels like a super technical trick, but I promise that when you break it down into steps and learn the prerequisite tricks that I recommended, it will be easier and you should be able to make some progress on it. If you have any other questions, hit me up and let me know. I would love to help anyone who wants to learn this trick. And if you want to see any other advanced tricks like this one done in a how-to, also let me know in the comments down below. If you're new here, check out the other tips and tricks videos that I make. A lot of them are much more basic than this for very beginners. I also have videos about how to do tons of different things on your bike as far as working on it goes. I also make a BMX news video on Fridays and put up other types of riding videos and streams throughout the week. Thank you for watching, and if you made it this far in this video, extreme thank you, because I know that it's not going to be a great fit for everyone. I just wanted to make it and put it out there for anyone who might want to learn it. Thank you again for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Goodbye.